last year I was up here and I tried to equate management and the difficulty managing WPCAs and a story that happens in my life, and all these little strange things always usually happen to me, and they probably happen to everybody else, but they seem to sit with me for a while. I don't know, it's, I guess, my personality. So what I'm going to try to do is tie this story into like the law of unintended consequences and kind of relate that to our business. So what I did is probably what everyone does now. You go on Wikipedia and you read about unintended consequences, you see what pops up, and I found that it was coined by this renowned sociologist, Robert Merton, in 1932, and he listed the following points, and I won't read them all in detail, but ignorance, making it impossible to anticipate everything, thereby leading to incomplete analysis, errors in analysis of the problem, or following habits that work in the past but may not work in current situations, immediate interest overriding long-term interests, basic values which may require or prohibit certain actions, and so forth. You get the idea. Who's experienced this? Everybody, to some extent. I probably haven't really thought about it, but now when you go home, you will think about it. Anybody recognize what this app is? This is a photo of an app. Anyone have this on their phone? It's the Moves app. It's on my phone. I do it. It's like a pedometer, basically. It keeps track of where you are. Probably not a good thing, but it keeps track of like how many steps you take and all that. And it's in my phone's in my pocket all the time, so it gets kind of interesting. Well, pay attention to kind of the order there: a walk, a 4-minute run, a 5-minute walk, and you can see Wide World Sports Complex. Just keep that in your mind, and I kind of back into this. Okay. A couple weeks ago, I have triplet seniors in high school. 2 of them play for the Plainville High School baseball team. I'm plugging them because I'm very proud of them. They're, one's a pitcher, one's a catcher, Jared and Ryan. They actually went to Florida and had the luxury of their dad paying a tremendous amount of money to go to Disney to play at that beautiful baseball park at the ESPN Wide World of Sports. Day 1 was perfect. Stayed a couple minutes away, drive in with my rental car, and I park right next to the park. I walk in and I watch them play in the first day. Couldn't have been happier. And actually, I took that picture, I think, after the first day. The next day became a little interesting. If you've been to Disney in Orlando, it's sprawling. That's the entrance as you come into the main road that goes into the complex. Well, on this particular morning, for whatever reason, this is what I ran into. It was just like packed with cars in typical Disney fashion, as long as you could see. And I'm like, what's going on? And I left 8 minutes to get from my hotel to the game. So consequently, I was running late, and I'm kind of getting pissed off because I'm sitting in this long line. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I was kind of looking like Kevin Hart here, right? Guess what? It was a Star Wars half marathon, which nobody told me about. Well, it really wasn't the marathon itself. It was the lead up to the marathon. And so there's the sports complex, massive. The part in the middle there, or I'll do this. There's my little rental car, right? See, where that car is where I parked that particular day. After I went through a long line and I got to several people flagging, I said, what's going on? They're like, oh, the marathon, like I'm supposed to know. And they channel me into this back parking lot, which normally I'm parked right up close to it. I'm probably, as you can see, 1/3 to a half a mile away. So I wasn't happy. But what can I do? Couldn't do anything, right? So that's roughly the distance I had to walk to get to the park. That park is enormous. It's like a minor league baseball park. It's where the Atlanta Braves play their spring training games. So it's huge. I start my walk from the parking lot, and I'm walking up to the corner just across the street. I'm by myself. And there's a guy like this, security guard at the corner. And I'm about to cross the street, and he goes, sir, you can't cross the street. And I said, well, why not? I'm just going to the ballpark. And I actually pointed to it. I could see the light standards. It was close. He goes, no, sir, you have to take the bus. And I said, what bus? And he said, that bus. just like that. So I turned, and I saw not just one of those buses, but 3 of those buses with probably 1,000 people in line to get on buses. And they all look like this. So I said, "Sir, I'm not taking the bus. I'm just going to the baseball game to watch my boys play. I'm just going over there," very nicely. He said, "Sir, no, you can't. You can't walk. You got to take the bus." And I said, "I'm not taking the bus. I'm just going to the game." And I start walking across the street where there was another security guard just on the other side of the street. He starts telling me the same thing. I think at that time I said, "I'm not taking the effing bus," but I'm not quite sure because I was trying to figure out what to do at that point. So I crossed the street, and that's where the running came in. So I'm starting my dart across and then realize I have it all barricaded, so I'm darting through bushes, running across a parking lot, and I'm saying to myself, I'm not sure why I'm running, because I don't know what Disney's going to do if they're going to say, "Man arrested for wanting to walk to his destination." So that's an unintended consequence, I guess. Initially Disney provides buses for the convenience due to their expansive parking lots. Makes a lot of sense. As safety at some point became an issue for all their patrons to be bused from their parking areas. The unintended consequence was Disney prevents people from walking. If you've been to Disney, people could use a lot of walking. So we've all had these days, right? The regulators are going to save the giraffes, and we come in with the helicopter. So I bet you I can go to every one of you and come up with, you like that, right? Couldn't resist. I have a few unintended consequences that I'd like to bring up. That some of these, some of the consultants, I asked a few people to send some are my own, and they may be one-sided and may not totally be accurate, but I think they apply. Regulations for current direct responsible charge. Regulations succeed in driving up class 3 and 4 operators' salaries to create good-paying jobs. Good idea, right? Unintended consequences. Regulations greatly limit career advancement and the ability for utilities to hire qualified operators when they are needed, right? Regulation provide protection of groundwater, prevents us from land application of biosolids, irrigation of and reuse of water, and large-scale land discharge. The unintended consequence, it drives sludge disposal costs up, which in turn raises rates and raises taxes. And pretty soon we'll be hauling sludge to the Midwest, and then it's kind of counterproductive to fossil fuel emissions and trucking it that long. Here's an action. Legislature requires DEP staffing budget cuts to help balance the state budget. I'm sure George Hicks and Yvonne are very aware of all those. The unintended consequence, the heavily funded Clean Water Fund program does not have the staff to move the funds toward rebuilding and maintaining our infrastructure. All approved by the same legislature. So you have proposed laws. Proposed EPA air permits make it necessary, make it nearly impossible for new incinerators to exist, incentivizing maintenance of old technologies. The unintended consequence, zero benefit to building new, more efficient, environmentally friendly incinerators, and forcing long haul of materials, kind of similar to the before. I got a rule imposing strict or equal requirements and specification promotes competition and drives down costs, all with good intention. However, then we have the operators come to me and they start complaining that we have multiple technologies in one building or one particular process, and there's no continuity. So that's an unintended consequence. I think everybody in here can relate to this in some way. You can come up with your own. You probably come up with better ones than I came up with. But full circle, that's why we have organizations like this. So the fact that there's 150 people in this room of all different positions will go a long way to prevent a lot of these consequences from happening, or unintended consequences. So I encourage you to be involved in the workshops, be involved in this organization, be involved in CWPAA, be involved in NUIA, be involved in WEF, attend the conferences as much as you possibly can, help out with public outreach. DEP's here. There's like 5, 6 people here. Make sure you're coordinating, communicating with DEP. We found them to be very cooperative, and they're trying to do everything they can within their position to help out. And yes, I know they are the regulator, and they are pushing us to do certain things, but they also, if you're working with them, can provide very good assistance. Networking, there's a lot of fun stuff. Golf tournaments, ski trips, the Poo and Brew, which NUIA is using as a term. That's just a wastewater term for going to a bar, I guess. Legislative outreach, like I said, we have the website. Go to a website. That website's last week we had almost 300 unique visitors to the website, and I think 800 or 900 page hits. So it's getting utilized. Couple just side notes here. The website's powered by Weebly. It's got the past workshops on them. It has the video, so if you want to watch this again, God knows why you would, but you can watch it again. Legislative updates are on there. It's just a quick click through. It takes you right through. It organizes all the wastewater legislation that's active. Like I said, video access to all the previous workshops, and you can vote for the next annual Presidential Excellence Award, which we'll be giving out shortly. And we continue to maintain those quality workshops. Like I said, this is your workshop, so please fill out the information, try to win a gift card, and give us some good ideas for future workshops. So that's my spiel, and I'm going to turn it over now to Matt Formica, who's going to present the NUIA Awards, and then after that, Jay Sheehan from Woodard & Curran is going to present the CAWPCA Annual Presidential Excellence Award. So thank you.